It's Jersey Watch.
Hi, Pesos. How are you?
How you doing?
Thank you so much for taking the time out to do this interview with me. My name is Amirah. I'm from Jersey Watch Blog. We're a hip hop blog in South Jersey that highlights independent local artists. This segment is called Amirah's Conversation, where I talk to turnkey, ready artists who are out there. They're pushing their music, they're pushing their content. They're doing amazing, getting back numbers. Their fans are like raving about their music. I'll sit and talk to you guys so you can maybe drop down some gems to those who are hustling and doing what you're doing, kind of in that grassroots stage of starting out in their artistry.
Yeah,
Um, so how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. Woke up a little late, but I'm all right. Can't
Oh,
complain.
that's good. Like I said, I'm an early starter in the morning, so I get the best, out of my day when I'm, able to get up early. So, but you rep Camden a lot in your music. What part of Camden are you from?
I'm from Sixth and Third.
Six and
Born
Ferry.
born and raised. I lived a little bit in Creamer Hill, but yeah, I'm from Sixth and Third. Gotta rep my city. Nobody else do it.
Okay. So I remember you said you were raised by your grandmother. Talk a
Yeah,
little bit about that.
yeah. Like my mom, she's the single parent most of the time. Most of my life, she was single. So working 3 jobs, 2 jobs, we all get dumped off at my mom crib. And then with that being, a lot of my cousins already lived at my grandma's house, so we was always all just basically raised in one house until I got older and I started doing what I want.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can remember those days. Like my grandmom lived in Philly. So whenever my dad or my mom they wanted to go out, we was dumped at grandmom's house, over there, and we would, literally be in the streets all night playing manhunt, stuff like that. So I definitely could relate to that. Now how has that influenced you, in your writing stages or in just developing yourself as an artist? How did your background um help or influence who you are as an artist?
Seeing a lot of things, being in a lot of situations, it's just like, when you like raised out here, you either got, I mean, you can don't act, you can avoid the streets, but it's just like when you got so many influences to the streets, it's like you kind of so mine was like more. I seen a lot growing up, and I also did a lot when I got older. So that was already my influence. And then plus the trials and tribulations during that. You lose a lot of people. You go to jail. A lot of stuff happening in between that you can kind of tell the sides of the stories. You tell both sides of the stories.
Hmm. That's good that you said that because I had an interview last week with another Camden artist named King Shinobi. And I'm glad that you said that because it shows the polarity of the situation. Like he was saying basically, how yeah, there's street life and yeah, like the streets influence us growing up, but it's also important to choose, whether or not you want to do music or do the streets. And what you're saying is kind of like sometimes people don't have a choice. Sometimes that's a lifestyle that just happens because the environment that you're surrounded.
It,
So it's good that you said that. If you want to expound a little bit on that, go ahead.
it's honestly it's harder to do good, like literally. I don't know. Maybe in this generation, it's probably a little different, but not even that. Social media got like so much of an effect on people. Like, so I could literally go on. I could probably literally go on the internet right now and say something that's a lie. People will believe it. You see, so I don't like. That's how much of an influence like social media has. So you can just be influenced by your favorite rappers already, and what they're talking about wasn't really what rappers were talking about when I was growing up. It was more about like drugs and stuff like that. Now they're talking about killing your boy, your whole family. So it's like the influence. Like so long as you ain't got like school program. And Kim, they really ain't got school programs and stuff like that in your face. Like when you walk outside, when you wake up every day and walk outside, that's what you see. You see people that's homeless. You see people out here scavenging for drugs. You see people in the corners. That's the first thing you see. If you live anywhere in Camden, 9 times out of 10, that's the first thing you see when you walk out that house. And then mind you, you don't go to think to ask somebody like, oh, what happens? Do you go to jail? Do you get shot at a lot? No, you just see people with the nice jewelry, nice clothes, cars, and all that. So you just growing up like, damn, I want that. That's already in your head. I want that. Yeah. He come here every day, he fly, he got all the whips. Because you don't know. He probably spent a hell of money on lawyers and all that. So, yeah. The influence is like, it's so much harder to do good. Like, you can't.
I definitely feel that, you know, especially with hip hop music. I was listening to an interview, Dr. Wesley Muhammad, and he was talking about, you know, just hip hop, how hip hop has evolved. And basically the influence that rappers have that, you know, essentially he said that rappers are the gods of the Black community because what we rap about, what you guys write about, what you guys, you know, are, you know, rapping in the studio, you are rapping the accounts of what goes on in the Black community. And depending on how you depict it in your art, you know, it could be used as an influencing tool, or it can be used as something to teach, you know, younger generations.
Yeah.
So how do you feel? What is your thoughts on hip hop's evolution and how we could improve hip hop to change the conditions that we see in, you know, the hood?
I don't know, just doing more. Like if you're gonna rap about the stuff you rapping about, make sure you come to your community and show them different. Like I rap about my past and stuff I've been through. So when I do that, I make sure I throw basketball events. I make sure I throw showcases to let them kids know when y'all see me, it ain't all about all the guns and all the drugs. That's just what I used to get into. Now I try to make sure like, nah, music is what I do, and this is how I fun when I'm doing for y'all. Like so when y'all see me throwing events and doing little stuff, no, that's because I got that off of music. That wasn't off of no street money.
Mm. So let's talk a little bit about your passion for music. When or how did you first discover your passion for music and that you even had a talent in music?
Like I always wanted to be an entertainer. Like I wanted to be on all that Nickelodeon. So it was I already wanted to be in like the show business period. So like being in my grandma's crib, being influenced by my cousins and the way they dress, the music they listen to, how hype they got when they heard certain rappers. I just wanted to that almost like just how you wake up every day, you used to see the drugs outside. I started looking at the rappers every day, like, damn, I want that. But I've never really cared to rap until I got like locked up and it started being hard for me to get a job. So it was more like just me sitting around doing nothing. Brothers like, you can rap, so rap. So I tried that. And then, you know, once I did like my first show and I realized like, oh, everybody telling me that I got something, that's when I started taking it serious.
So what was that? Because I talked to a lot of artists and I love hearing that particular story where they kind of like shock themselves. Like usually it happens when they're like at a friend's house and they just bust out having a cipher and they just go out there and they, you know, say some bars they've been writing. What was a moment like that in your earlier stages that you could remember that really stood out for you as an artist today?
Somebody dissed me one time when I was a kid and I wasn't even a rapper. So that made me like even attempt to do something. But yeah, like that's the first time I ever like put a rap together. Everybody was like, well, that's hard, bro. But I ain't even want to write. I just wanted to get into the action. Like I don't rap. I didn't rap at the time, so I didn't want to go to my house and beat them up, and then the record still be played every day. All right, so I was like, you know what? All right, I'm gonna do both. So I wrote it, and then I went over there too. But yeah, that's the first time I ever like wrote rap, and everybody was like, oh. But other than that, I still didn't do nothing. Like I don't know. Nobody gets signed out here. So at that point at that stage of my life, I didn't care for music. Like I wasn't about to waste my time. I wanted to be like a football player.
So that's you know, wanting to be a football player and then becoming a rapper. That's, you know, pretty similar to a lot of other artists. They want to be something and then they remember that passion for music that they have somewhere down the line, and they say, you know what, let me go ahead and do music, try this music thing out. Like, I know I wanted to be a football player. I know I wanted to be, a doctor or whatever, but let me try my music out. And they end up having a career. When exactly in your youth did you decide that, okay, I'm gonna do this? I'm not only gonna rap, I'm not only gonna make songs, but I'm gonna do this and make this like something that I do full time. Like, this is what I'm gonna do to put bread and butter on the table.
Hold on. Like I said, when I got locked up, I just didn't want to sit around. And at that time, I was flirting around with music. So it was just like, I picked up the hobby more. And once I did the showcase, and I seen the reaction from everybody that didn't know me, it was like, all right, I got something. So let me I'm gonna give myself 2 years. If I ain't to the standard I want to be in 2 years, I ain't even doing this. I end up taking off kind of quick, but then once the Cardi situation happened, I like kind of like launched off a little bit, and then just kind of being around, like, I don't know, like I don't know, I just jumped off different because my music is different than everybody's out here. I'm more like I got like a more southern type of vibe. Everybody be thinking I'm like from the South or something.
Listen, when I listen to your music, I think of you like the cowboy of Camden. Like, you literally be like running the street, like the when you're singing, I think of like like a Tasmanian devil. Like, how like whenever he goes, like he just be tearing shit up, like that's how I think. Excuse me for saying the S word, but that's how I imagine you. It's just like, when you hear a song by you, it's gonna be turn up. It's gonna be like nobody sitting in their seats. You're like the bad boy coming into the room and shaking up the room. You shaking the tables. You shaking the tables. And with that song Stuck, that you have with Mir Fontane, I heard that I had the privilege of seeing the video snippet. And I was like, this go hard. Like, you bring that energy when you rapping. Like, your first verse in the song really just, you came in. Like, it wasn't you didn't ease it in. You came in, and it set the precedent for the rest of the song. So when Mir comes in with his hook, it's, anytime he gets on the song, I love it. I love his work. His artistry. Like, when he gets on the song, he stamps it. So y'all doing that together, you being you, him being him, y'all have different flows, but it comes together and it works beautifully. It's like really harmonious. So let's talk a little bit about Stuck and how that whole making of the song came about.
I was recording in my boy's studio. I was just like, sometimes like right now, like if I ain't have to be somewhere, I'd have probably, I'm bored, let's go to the studio. Regular, like nothing crazy. But like you say, I'm like a Tasmanian devil. Like, so once I start like getting loose in the studio, I'm knocking out songs. This like actually one of my prime like days. Like, I did like 4 songs. I'd never like, sometimes I'd be bull BS. So I'm like, this how I'm going. I get to the last song. It's the beat. Like, I don't even think he told me to get on. Like, Wayne, that's my producer, Wayne Campbell. He playing this last beat. And I don't even think he was done the beat. It was just the way it was. I'd be so can't sit down. All right, bro, now plug me in. That's why you don't hear nothing from her. I don't write. So like when I'm going, it's just like, bro, don't look, just punch me in. Don't mess with it. So once I'm doing it, everybody going crazy. I just stop. Like, I ain't have no hope, none of that. Mir right there, that's my guy. He's sitting right there, telling mind his business. But he like, man, I already kind of heard him. Like, before I got up, like I heard him like, when you studio, everybody writing or everybody doing what they doing, but he already had something in his phone, so he was just. I'm like, bro, wherever you got on his phone, like, because he was listening to a recorder, you got a recorder, like, I guess he recorded through like. Sometimes you can record yourself instead of writing it, so he listened. I'm like, bro, wherever you got right there, go ahead and throw that on. He went over and threw it on. It already, like I said, it went from, I can't even say zero because it was already up, but he broke the bar when he hopped on there. So
wow, like when you listen to a song and you're like, man, I wish I could have been in the studio when they was recording this. Like, I wonder what it was like. That's what I think about when you just, were talking about that whole instance. Like the fact that you was in the studio and you didn't write, like you don't write, you just go off the top of your dome and just record, and whatever you record is a hit. And then to hear that Mir records himself, and then if it sounds good, throws it on the track. Like, that's incredible to me.
No, he didn't. He only had like some people, like, say if I'm walking and I think of a hook, I might say it so I don't forget it. That's more what he did. He actually had to do his verse too, but he had the hook. The hook was already like there. Like I do that too though. Like if I think of a bar, so I just write it down. I say it. So when I go to the studio, I got something to go off for.
Right, you'll have that paper trail. And that's like what most artists do. But the fact that y'all making it in that instance of being in the studio, like some people, it take days to write a song, maybe like weeks to make a hit. Like,
don't get it messed up. Sometimes I'll be like, I go to the studio trying to just, it ain't that. Sometimes I do gotta sit there, but the reason why I don't write, because I can write it, and then when I get to the mic, I won't say it the same way. So I usually just try to do it on the mic.
Okay. So that's fair. So let's talk about the Cardi B incident, because you mentioned it earlier. So let's talk lightly about that. I remember that morning when it happened. One of my friends who I've known for years, she had posted, she said something about Cardi B. And I hopped on and I said, what's she talking about? Cardi B and somebody from Camden. So I looked at it and, she posted the song, the video. I said, why does this sound familiar? So then I go back to my friend's post and I actually read what she was talking about. And she pulled up your video snippet. And I said, wow, this is the same song that Mir Pesos and Fontane have. Like, it's like literally the same. I don't know. I felt robbed because if you know me, you know that I'm Camden till I die. Like I read
you feel robbed.
I ride for Camden on so many levels. It's not even funny. So when I heard that, I said, man, like that was a time, like y'all wrote that song. It was lit. And it's a time for Camden, why use that as a, if you're inspired by something, say you're inspired by something. Don't rob from, people who are actually producing gold. Like y'all probably worked hard to do what y'all did. Y'all had a video, y'all did promo, the song was lit. People,
it's not even that. Like I'll be trying to do the same thing that they're trying to do in life. And it's already hard for us to do it because, I didn't do a love and hip hop you know what I'm saying? Like I live in Camden. It's nowhere near as big as New York. Nowhere near. Not even close to it. Like I'm mind you. And then we're stuck between New York and Philly. They ain't really this little place. So for you to even it's just like, all right, why? Like, why not even hit? Why didn't you hit me up instead of even trying to like you just really try to make it so much harder for me to make it in life by taking out the one song that I actually thought that had legs, which it clearly did, because out of all the other songs that people said that she took, that was the only one that stuck out.
So to be honest, I feel like Stuck is better than Up anyway, just because of it's the culture that Camden has, that hype, always on edge culture that you brought to the table with that track. And I felt like y'all were perfect because it matched the way we live. It matched our culture. It's Camden. Was there any chance that there might have been someone connected to the song or connected to you guys that, had some dealing in the Up song with Cardi?
It is. I'm just going through like little legal situations now, so I can't really I can't jump. I can't jump into, but yeah, it was.
Definitely. And like, like I've, said, like everything's on paper. If you, really want to know, do your research, like that's what I say. Now, how do you feel on the flip side of it? Seeing Green by Nicki Minaj. She shouted out Camden.
I love Nicki now.
I
I
felt
love Nicki.
I felt like justice was due by the queen. We're not gonna put no blame on nobody. I ain't gonna, put blame on an artist, but we know that things happen in the music industry that sometimes the artists can't, they can't help but it happens. Things happen. But Nicki, I felt like that shout out that she gave us was justice. It was like street justice. It was like saying, like, you got the queen of hip hop saying, look, I see y'all. It was hot, and it was hot enough for somebody to steal from y'all.
That was okay. It's like mine. It was like somebody stuck up for us. That ain't have, like, even though she may have her own agenda, I don't care at that point. It felt like somebody stuck up for us, and I appreciated that. Like, so Nicki always, like, Nicki is super green in my books. Nicki couldn't do no harm to me. Like, you can't do nothing to change that for me, Nicki. No. I love Nicki.
And I love Nicki too. And I talk, I talk to people about that. Like, they be like, I wonder why Nicki did shout it out. Like, why did she shout out Camden? And when I break it down to people, they be like, yo, that's crazy. It really does show her heart for this, for hip hop as a whole. Like, I'm sure she probably went through stuff, the same situations, and for her to
especially like when you're in the inside, like, we're in the middle. Like, but when you in the inside, you know more than what we know. So Nicki probably know more than what we know. So, of course she gonna, stick her neck out. You can't do nothing. Like, you can't blackball Nicki. Like, it's gonna be hard to blackball Nicki. They tried it already. You can't really do nothing with Nicki.
Yeah, and I feel like she's on this level of trying to get hip hop back to the basics. Like, hip hop needs to be broken back down to the basics. And I really feel like she's doing a good job at, bringing it back, bringing bars back. Like, let's go bar for bars on our songs. Let's bring back that hip hop culture to the standard that it once was at. So that was pretty dope, getting that feedback from her. So listening to your music, I come across like old hip hop fans who may be like our parents' age, and they'll listen to the artists of our generation. They'll say, they don't really get the message behind the music, or they don't really get how this is impactful for the world, or how this changes hip hop for the better. What do you feel like is your message behind your music, and how you think hip hop can and has been impactful for the world?
Well, my impact is, man, I'll try to send out positive vibes. Not more as far as, like, not more so much about, like, what I'll be rapping about, because, like you said, like, I only rap about what I've seen and what I've done. But as far as that, I'm trying to give you that vibe where you ain't even, say if you mad at the party, you in the party, you're angry, you're not going to be as angry, because I'm sending off that vibe. Man, you turn up. Don't even trip about it. Don't even worry about that. Like, all my music is a vibe. You ain't like, nah. I come in there, you're not angry. Like, I don't come in no place angry. I'm always, like, energized. So I try to give energy in my music. Like, you rather turn up, you want exercise music. That's the kind of music I got. You tired in the morning, you want to get your day started, you put me on. If you ready to go to the club on Friday, you with your girls, you want to get your hair done, you with your guys, you put me on. That's the kind of message I'm gonna turn up. Like, bro, wherever you angry about in life, it ain't that deep, not that deep. And also, I be sending personal messages, but my personal messages really ain't got to deal with nobody else. You know what I mean? My personal messages be personal. So I really can't. I rap. I don't know. I'm so turned out. I really rap really about turn it up. Like
you're literally living through your music. Like you're living through your music. Anything you is what you're saying. Anything that
because I don't want like I told you, as today I'm a different man. Like I'm not so active into the streets. So like, I'm not about to tell you but that's what I'm rapping about my past. I'll be strong to tell people I rap about my past. Send that message out because I'll be kind of a hypocrite. I'll definitely let you know. I'll definitely let you know like this ain't a game. This is the life you think you want. If you're trying to live this life, it's not that. It's not no game. It ain't nothing to play with. Jail is not fun.
Yeah, I was talking to an artist yesterday about
my brother coming.
Something like that. So
My brother coming. Okay. All right.
What are you currently working on at the moment as far as music?
I was hibernating in the winter time. I was dealing like with a lot between my daughter and stuff, getting stuff situated with that. But I'm actually about to drop my second project, Pocket Rocket Pace. So, it's about to be hot out. So I like to really jump around March so it can linger from spring to summertime. So yeah, that's what we finna do. And then we about to hit the road soon. So it's about to be back to business, back to work.
That is dope. We definitely can't wait. Everybody been inside. It's time to come outside now. So we definitely
trying to come outside.
We definitely need some dope music. Now, what would you say is the biggest highlight of your career so far? What was the biggest highlight?
Performing All-Star Weekend.
Oh.
Not this one, like last year.
Okay.
Was it last year? Yeah, is it last year? I think last year. In Atlanta. Whenever All-Star Weekend was in Atlanta. All-Star Weekend was the highlight of my career so far.
Okay, so did you guys perform Stuck? Or
I did. Twin wasn't with me. Twin was on. Like I said, we was ripping it. I don't know. We was ripping and running. I was chasing everything. Anything had dollars on them, I was chasing. So I was doing my own.
I know that's right. So
Stuck was being performed though. Did that.
Say it again.
I said, Stuck was being performed though.
So we're wrapping up. But before we go, I want to ask you, what is some advice, overall throughout your career, what you've experienced, in the previous year? What is some advice you can give NJ Indies who watch the blog and who want to, get some gems from you?
Don't let nobody tell you can't do nothing. Like literally, that's all that. I'm one of them. Like if I put my mind to something, if I want to do it, I'm gonna do it because it's not hard at all. You just gotta. Even when you feel like it ain't working, it's working. So just keep doing it. Literally, the more you do something, the more you get better with it. So if you don't think your music is as good as it is now, just keep working. You're gonna get some type. You're gonna improve some type of way. But stay consistent. Consistency is the key. That's the consistency. You stay consistent in life, it's gonna work. Consistency. Like everybody be looking for the I didn't know nobody. I just stayed consistent. Then I started meeting people. When you get in these rooms, don't not say nothing. Closed mouths don't get fed. So you're around certain people that you know that can do something for you. You better speak up.
That's a word, because let me tell you, when I started writing and I would go to these different events and I would just be a fly on the wall, and my friends would be like, yo, when we go out, you got to talk to people. You got to, shake hands, connect with people, tell them what you do. Yeah. And when I started doing that, that's when the consistency and the work started to begin. So like you said, closed mouths don't get fed. If you're not saying nothing, people ain't going to talk to you. People don't like to talk to people who ain't willing to put themselves out there, in order to, be seen and let the world know what they're doing. Now, one quick question before I go. I forgot to ask this one. You did Twin Stick with Mir Fontane. Can we look forward to hearing another? Hey, Mir, what's up? Oh, he got his earphones in. Well, tell him we looking to get an interview with him too. So I'll be hitting him up soon. But so when can we expect another project like that? Because
Between me and Mir, all right, we both like mine, we together all day, every day. So that's coming. That's definitely. We already said that once we dropped that, like, cause we did that on the fly, like literally. We probably did that. If you want to put a time to, we probably did that in like 5 hours. So, yeah, so like that the album's definitely coming. I know I want to drop. He want to drop one more, and then after that, we gonna go ahead. But there's a lot of stuff on the table right now, so we gotta see what's going on before we get all these contracts and all this weird shit.
So you're definitely, right about that. Now, where can your fans and your supporters follow you?
They can follow me on,
and stream your music.
You can follow me on IG Peso 500. You can follow me on Twitter, Pocket Rocket Case. I got a lot of Twitters. I always get kicked out of. I got like 3, but Pocket Rocket Case is my Twitter. Yeah, and you can follow. You can get you can stream my music on everything. Mir Pesos is on all platforms.
Got you. And I know you were trying to be humble and stuff, but earlier when I said I don't know artists who can go and make a whole project in minutes, the fact that y'all made that project in 5 hours, please, what y'all doing is amazing. Like I said, y'all putting Camden on. Not too many people, I've seen artists make it in this city, and then once they make it, they just forget all about us. When I tell you that what y'all did for Camden or hip hop in Camden for the last year or two, y'all influenced so many more rappers to get out there, rap.
Everybody right now.
Be original. Like y'all really paved the way for being original. And like Mir, he, kept that same the way he is as an artist has been consistent. His nonstop love for Camden. Or there's never a time where you don't see him in the city. And with you, there's never a time that you don't see you with somebody that you either grew up with from the city or who is also in the city doing what they're doing in hip hop. So I really appreciate y'all because, it's so many artists that feel like they got to go outside of Camden to be seen. And no, it's all about unity and really, coming together